Hello, everybody. It's beau-hindman. It is the 8th of January 2020. Is that right? I got it right. I thought I'd fire off a quickly made video just using my old Pixel 4 here, front-facing camera, to kind of go over some of my backlog. I might link a little backlog video up in here somewhere. I made one last year, and I'll bet you anything that I did not finish the items in that backlog yet either. I'd like to explain a little bit because I think it's interesting when people have a backlog and why they have a backlog and what happens when you start to amass too much of a backlog. But basically, I'm a very creative dude. I'm always doing something. I've written a novel. I've used to play in bands. I'm an artist. I do all these different types of things. And I also have a real knack or a real need to organize stuff. I'm not I'm not into it to where it's like an obsession or whatever, but I really like to organize things. So I've been on a kick over the last 5 or 6 months to really buckle down and organize stuff like my old blogs, my images, my artwork, my own music, all that stuff. So I tend to get distracted pretty easily. In fact, distracted very easily. If I start one project, I might, get halfway into it and start another. So it can be very hard for me to complete things sometimes. So this is about my backlog and what I currently have in it. And I don't know how much of it I hope to achieve this year of 2020. But let me just show you what I have, and then you all can kind of get an idea of what I'm up against. So first I got the AC Guy. Awesome kit. I've always wanted it. Haven't even opened it. But I was at a comic kind of museum thing here in Austin. They have called Gudzu Gallery, I think it is, and they had this for sale for $12. I was like, awesome, $12 for that. It's got to be a mistake, whatever, but I'll take it. I put it up there, and somebody had put a $12 sticker on a $17 kit, but I went ahead and bought it anyway because I absolutely love all the monster kits. Speaking of monster kits, what I call monster kits, kits that are kind of unusual looking or different looking, aquatic kits, stuff like that. I've got this guy right here. I have opened it and looked at it. I even started it, but I have not even snap built it yet. So I've got that one next, the Zugok. I had to get this. Come on now. This season of Divers, last season was, as we all know, it was not that great. I like to say that it was a good online multiplayer game cartoon, but it was not a great Gunpla cartoon. Build Fighters, the first season and second season, was much more about, actually taking the kits and fighting them. Last season of Divers seemed to be more about making friends in an online world, less about Gunpla, which is fine if you're into online, which I am. I'm into online games. But it wasn't a great Gunpla series. This new one is fantastic. This kit is supposedly pretty good for an SD. But also, I really like this character. He's a really cool character. If you haven't caught up on the series, please do. It's a slow start, but it gets really fun. So I'm going to build that. So that's number 3. I have this Femina that I've actually already finished, but I'm repainting it to look like Mercy from Overwatch. Of course, I've been working on that project for a long, long time. So I have it all separated into colors. I've actually painted all the parts that I need to paint. It's all in the bags and everything here, but now I've got to detail it and snap her back together, flat coat her. So, just the little stuff that you've got to do. Next, I got this one right here. I picked it up on sale. Really cool looking kit. I'm not into normal looking, like a Gundam looking kits. I don't like like the RX-78. I don't like that look. I've never liked that look. I think it looks kind of dated and boring, frankly. But these grunt suits are really, really cool. Look at that giant shield. So I can't wait to build that one. That's what number, I don't know. This I got for dirt cheap through the GameStop sale. I don't know if you all were able to get a kit or two in the GameStop sale, but GameStop had a clearance sale that when I first heard about it, I went and added a bunch to my cart, and I was like, I'll wait a little bit, and I went back even, I think, hours later, and it was most of it sold out. But I was able to get this for, I can't even remember how much. It was like 60 or 70% off. That's supposed to be a neat kit. I don't follow that series at all, but supposedly that's a really cool kit. Then I have the Zaku 2. Now this one was interesting because I got this along with the old kit to compare them. I was going to build them and then compare them together. You know, like compare the original kit or the old kit to this kit. So I still haven't done that. I've started them, but I've just got to snap build them. Now the big guy. I've got this monster. Yes, I haven't started this yet. Yes, I feel absolutely guilty about it. I think I wanted it because I knew that it was a great kit. I knew that it was, people were raving that it was just a really fantastic. Look at that. This will be my thumbnail. What is this? But people were raving about this kit, saying, get it, it's fantastic, you'll love it, it's one of the best of the year and stuff like that. And I learned from the RE100, what was the one? The monster, really cool monster looking one. I could have picked it up for $35 on sale, and now it goes for $80 and $90 and stuff. And so I learned if you see something you really want, if you can go ahead and grab it, even if you build it a year later or something. So hopefully I'll get to that. And then I have stuff like these. I'm obsessed with building little, messing around with little Lego houses. You know, I'm messing around with form and shape. I'm not a great designer at all. I'm just using whatever color of gray, and later I might replace it if I redo it. But I'm obsessed with trying to get a good Lego house. And then I started to try to add lights and mess around with all that. So that alone is a hobby or a project that I'm not sure I want to get too far into, because I know that that will suck up even more of my time that I do not have. But, you know, so I like to build little small houses. I want to build little mini houses, but I want them to be functional. So I'm trying to add space for toilets, sinks. I'm going to go to our local Lego resale shop around here called Bricks and Minifigs, I think, and buy literal light kits, little toilets, sinks, you know, parts that I don't have to build out of just a block. So I can have all that. I need a lot more windows. So that's a really fun hobby. Then I have to be assembled kits like this. I keep them, go and buy some meal prep things like these are really cool. They're see-through lids. And you could eat it later, I guess, if you wanted to. I've got this old, whatchamacallit kit that Kapool, I think it is, that the Momo Kapool is based on. But I bought this years ago. I'm missing some of the parts. The parts are inside one of my other parts bins. So I'm going to read panel line and all that stuff with this one. I've got this old guy, I think the old Dom. You can barely see it there. But there's my phone. But I started panel lining that one seam lining that one, and hopefully that one I can get finished this year because I really like the kit. It's an old kit. And then I have stuff like a million of these. You can see some of the toys here, but I've got 4 of these kind of shelves spread throughout the house. One of them is, and I'll show it someday, one of it is my custom toy shelf where I actually paint and do toys from other toy kits. This is a Galador. I've made a video of it. Maybe I'll link up here somewhere. My Galador is one of my favorite toy lines for customizing. It's big and chunky and fun, and I just mess with this stuff. So I've got to finish like this one. I've got to paint it, redo all the gunmetal. You know, I mean, there's just always something with these toys. So it's custom toys is a whole nother realm outside of Gunpla that, if you're not familiar with, be careful. It's a deep realm. And then I've got like this. I forgot to grab this one here, but this is another one I'm wanting to finish. And this is my Cool Whip jar. This is, I forget the name of the toy, the kit. Let's see if you can see it there. I don't know if you can or not. But it's a little red kit from, I want to say Seed. I'm not sure. It's one of the little jet, they turn into jets or whatever. And I bought, this is one of my very first Gunpla kits, and I built it, and it's a great little kit, but it's snapped up, it's pretty fragile. So I've taken it apart. I've just kind of built the whole thing, and then I want to weather it and put it back together. So that's a whole nother little project. So all in all, that's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, about 15 to 20 individual projects. And then you got stuff like I've got to redo these little shelves I made back here because they're crooked. I've got to reorganize this. I just organized it, so I've got to redo it even better. I've got to date and list all of my art eventually in one big file. Make sure they're all scanned in. I've got to get my blog reorganized to where it's basically a curated list of my best stuff. I want to print that out, which is not that hard to do. So there's always something to do in the backlog, but I don't want to make a New Year's resolution because New Year's resolutions just don't work, especially for me. I just get distracted. I'm an older guy. I'm 45. So I have the money to buy distractions now, and it's really hard to get things done. So what I'm trying to do for 2020 is not say I'm going to finish one every month or whatever. That's just a setup for a failure for somebody like me. It's just how it is. I've learned that after all my years of being I've been into toys and games and art and stuff for my whole life. So I try to set little goalposts instead, and instead of putting a date on them, it's more like a list that I can check off. That's a little easier for me to do. So even if I don't finish all of these kits, I at least want to get them organized and planned. Have a plan for starting to finish them, if that makes sense. Sorry, I keep looking up here, but I'm supposed to be looking here. So I've got all those kits. I think the next one I want to do the Valkylander from Divers because I really love the show, but I think it's at the end of the season right now, and we're not going to get any new ones till spring. But I want to do that one just because I'm curious and I love modern stuff. But I really want to start cracking into this Asabi, just because, look at the box. It's so pretty and it's so big and stuff. And I work at home, so sometimes I can peter around with stuff like this in between work assignments, if I need to. I can clean, like cut stuff off, clean it, organize it, stuff like that. So there's a lot I need to do. Let me know, though, if you can find me on Twitter at beau_hindman. You can just Google me, beau-hindman, and contact me on Instagram, whatever. Let me know what you're doing, because for me, the backlog it's perfectly good to have one. I think you need to have inspiration, something to look forward to down the line. But you have to be realistic about it. And if you're one of these people who are literally just buying a kit or a toy or a project just to buy it, if it's not something that speaks to your heart, and you're just trying to complete a collection, you might find yourself eventually overwhelmed. I know that it's a very easy way to become overwhelmed because you're not going to have the perfect solution ever. So what I'm finding is that I have to get things that only speak to me. And as I do that, I avoid a lot of extra money spending and I keep my backlog to a relatively manageable level, because 2020 has got to be the year that I finally catch up to all this stuff, and then I can buy more stuff. See, so that's the cool part. Anyway, have a good one, everybody. I'm sorry I keep looking up here. I'm going to be looking down there. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.